Hello everyone, my name is Carrie G. Davis and thank you for stopping to watch my video. Today I'm going to talk about something that I definitely can relate to, something that I have dealt with and am dealing with, and it's about your mind. So the topic of today is going to be control what you think about or controlling your thoughts, right? And the reason why I want to bring this up is because a lot of us, we are in our heads more than we are in reality. It means how we think about people, how we respond to situations. It's based on what we're thinking in our heads rather than what's really happening around us. And sometimes we can misperceive a situation with a person, we can misperceive different scenarios. And instead of us seeing the true meaning or getting an understanding of what's going on, we've already in our minds created the whole story. What we figured out, the who's, the what's, the why's, the when's. Basically, we know all the details without getting them. All in our head, right? Um, Someone I know, he would say, call it creative thinking. Don't let your mind get creative. You start creating things that's not there. For me, it's more so just don't start pondering, wasting time thinking about things that you really don't understand or you really don't know. Unless you're gonna go out your way to get understanding, you need to leave it alone. But more importantly, let me get comfortable for a second. Take my shoes off. More importantly, we need to know that there are some things that's worth the time to think about and some things that are not. Some things are irrelevant. It's not important. You don't need to waste time, space, or energy on it. And some things are important. We need to get to that place where we realize what's important and what's not. We need to separate them because when you do that, it saves you from a lot of depression. It saves you from a lot of mind games. It saves you from a lot of um, bad relationships. It just saves you in so many different areas, but more so time. And time is extremely important because the time you spend thinking about things or trying to figure things out that's really not important to your well-being, you're wasting that time that you could have invested in doing things that's important, like exercising, like reading some informational book, like building a relationship with someone that is an asset to your life or someone that you can help, right? So before anything else, I want you all to just be mindful of your thoughts and be mindful of what's important versus what's not important, what's irrelevant versus what's relevant. When you start looking at different situations and different people like that, then you can begin to have a more peaceful life. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit of what led me to this. Well, first of all, I'm constantly thinking. All day, every day, I'm thinking. So for me, if I'm not thinking productively, then I'm thinking unproductively. It's just, it is what it is. And I'm just naturally a reflector. I like to think about life. I like to think about different people's lives. I like to figure things out. I like to figure people out. It's just something that I do, and there's pros and cons to that. So the con is when I start like basically trying to figure out a person without really asking them questions about themselves, right? Um, like I already have the answer before you tell me, what you like and what you don't like, and that's dumb. That is stupid. It's not good, and I think some of that can be, when you do that, when you assume, the saying, it makes an ass out of you. But you shouldn't assume, you should not assume when you have the ability to get definite answers in situations. So, dealing with men and women, let's say a male and a female, they're dating or they're friends. If you never ask that person, hey, do you like me? You just assume, then you really made yourself out to be, the ass. You made yourself out to be that person because, or that thing, because you're not being real. you know, you have basically created this thought that, oh, this person likes me, oh, this person, you know, wants to date me, this person's gonna do this. So that really is creative thinking, because you have created something that's really not true, you know. So you're responding to the person as though, you know, they may be your girlfriend or they may be your boyfriend, but in their head they're like just looking at you as an associate, a co-worker, or a friend. You know, they're not even thinking like that. So rather than you just asking, hey, you know, are you interested in me, or if you like me, or do you like me, even if their actions may make you feel that way, to ask and get a definite answer is better than to assume. That's how we get out of our heads. Don't assume. If you have the ability to get a definite answer, get that answer. And if that person said, no, I don't like you like that, or no, I'm not interested, take it for what it is. Don't say, they're just saying that, oh, they just flirting, or you know, don't go beyond that. Take it at face value. That's something I'm learning. Take things at face value, whether it's true or not. If somebody says it and it can impact you emotionally, mentally, and physically, take it. And when I'm saying take it, I'm not saying like if someone's lying, but if it comes to something more so along the lines of someone that you may be interested in, someone that you may like. If they say, hey, I don't want to date, or hey, I'm not interested, don't assume anything else. Take that. Don't try to manipulate, don't try to sneak, don't try to do anything, because you're wasting your time and energy. Now, I know people that have done that and the outcome was to their liking, but honestly, like for me personally, I don't think I'm not going to do that. I don't think anyone should do that, right? And some people are definitely more aggressive than others. I think for women, we are more sensitive, and so we definitely have to be more mindful. We have to guard our minds. We have to guard our emotions even the more. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like we're way more sensitive than men. We're way more in our emotions than men. We're at a higher risk of, you know, falling for a good friend or liking a friend than they are for liking us. So we really have to be careful with that. You know, guard your minds. And not even just in a relationship where someone you like, you know, or a friendship. But think about your work. Like if you have a boss and, you know, your boss may come off a certain way and you've heard negative things about that boss, and you're like, oh, that boss, you know, doesn't care about us, or oh, that boss, you know, thinks that, you know, they can control everything. You never even sat down and spoke to that person. You know, a matter of fact, I can give an example of that. With my old boss, you know, I had some ill feelings towards him, or towards how he handled certain situations at work, because I felt like it wasn't professional. You know, I felt there was a lack of communication. I felt like he didn't care, you know. But did I talk to him? I didn't. I went off of what I observed that was going on and what I heard from other coworkers, and, you know, I drew my conclusion from that. But it would have been a wiser choice for me to communicate with him. And I eventually did sit down, and he and I spoke. And when we spoke to each other, that negative feel or that negative view that I had, it went away because I had a better understanding. Now, honestly, there were some things I thought that was true, and it continued, because yes, people may say things to you that makes things look like it's okay or make them look good, but you still must be mindful of their actions. But what I'm talking about is when we allow our minds to drift off and create things. You know, we start fantasizing about who we're going to be with and how we're going to be with them, and who likes you and who don't like you. And, you know, even with jobs, like we may hail it up to be better than it is. Like, you need to be real with yourself. You need to tune into reality. You need to value yourself enough to not value yourself and value your time enough to not allow things that are a waste of your time to consume your time. Going back to those thoughts, because I know for me, there's a lot of things I can always be doing. There's like so much work right now that I should be doing, but I just needed some time to get away, you know, step out the house and do some other things that, you know, you need balance. Balance is important. So I I have those moments instead of me doing those things that I should be doing or could be doing that's productive, that's going to help me to be a better person. I'm sitting there thinking in my head, I wonder, if this person likes this person, or if this person likes me, or if this person doesn't like me, or why did she say that, or why didn't he say that, or how does he view this, or why does she view that? Like, I'm all in my head. Like, I have a whole movie going on. Before, it's all over, I've already wasted 30 minutes to an hour just thinking in my head. Don't do it, y'all. It's not healthy. It's not healthy, and it's not good. And I noticed that when I'm not focused on a mission, because I'm usually a very busy person, I stay active. And I feel like it's good to stay active as long as it's productive. But I feel like it's also something that helps people who when they're not active or busy doing something productive, their mind starts to wander. You know, it could be similar to somebody that works out a lot, and avoids certain things because they know that they love to eat, and if they're not working out, more than likely they're going to be eating something unhealthy. I know that's not the best example, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. But like I said, focus on this. Please guard your minds. As I was just thinking about this, and I thank God I was able to talk to a friend today about it. God brought to mind a scripture, and I want to say it's Philippians 4:8. It is Philippians 4:8, and it talks about what we should think of. So this now is pertaining to people that are Christians or people that say they're followers of Christ. I profess myself to be a child of God. I do profess myself to be a follower of Christ, meaning I'm striving to live according to his will and his way, according to God's will and God's way, according to the example that Jesus set, and according to how God deals with me through the Holy Spirit. That's my goal, to please God with my life when I say I'm a follower of Christ. So if I say that, then that scripture applies to me, and this is for any other person out here that's a believer. If the Bible applies to all of us, if the Bible tells me in Philippians 4:8, I'm gonna give you the gist, not verbatim. It says that we should think of things that are pure, things of virtue, things virtuous, things that are virtuous, things that are lovely, things that are worthy of praise. So our mind should be thinking of positive things. Yes, you are human. Yes, I am human. Yes, you're going to get upset. Yes, you're going to think negative. But the problem is not when the thought initially comes to you. The problem is when you let it linger. And you let it linger to where it started as a quick preview, but you made it into a whole movie. Because instead of refocusing on something good, like instead of somebody did something to you, somebody came across you the wrong way, they may have said something, bumped you, and you like, I can't stand that, beep, and you just going off against that person, and you may have already had some ill feelings towards them, but what they did just really it really triggered something in you. So now you get with other friends. No, we talking about in your head. So now before you even get with other friends, in your head, you're thinking about how you don't like her, how the next time she do this, you're going to say this to her and that to her, and every time you see her, you roll your eyes, all in your head. That person could have just been having a bad moment. That person could be going through something and dealing with something beyond you. And you just happen to be the one that was impacted at that moment. But if we allow ourselves to take that preview, that incident where she may have bumped you or said something to you, if we allow that situation to grow in our heads, it went from a preview to a movie. Now you starting to think, oh yeah, I remember when she did this. I remember when she did this. I remember when, you're going back to all these different things. And further now, not, building that negative feeling towards her. That's not good. Now, as a child of God, the best thing should have been, of course, you want to talk to God. Well, God, I didn't feel good about this, But even more, even something that someone who's not a child of God could relate to. talk to her. Talk to her. Just say, all right, something that's not just pertaining to a believer or a child of God. If you go talk to her, hey, you just bumped me, and I was just wondering what's going on. I'm not used to you acting that way. And if she still has an attitude or has a negative or gives off a negative vibe towards you, then you can confirm, okay, this was intentional. This person, doesn't like me or doesn't mean me well, and then you can move ahead accordingly. But that's a wise approach, versus you just starting to get into your head of how you don't like that person. Women do it all the time with men, that they're dating, and men do it too, assuming he's cheating, why is he out late? Why did he do this? Why does he smell like this? Sometimes he is cheating. But then sometimes it's all in your head. You're thinking something's happening that's really not happening. And rather than you even ask to find out, you assume. You assume. You act like that donkey. I'm joking. Yeah, you assume. And it's not good. It's not good to assume. It's not good to be in your head and allow your thoughts to guide your decisions without enough information. But more importantly, stop worrying about things that's not important. Whoever someone you like, that's not important. That has nothing to do with you. It doesn't make your day. It doesn't pay your bills. It does nothing. So don't worry about it. Your boss not liking you or liking you, unless it's affecting how he's treating you on the job, then you can take it to a profession. You can take it on a professional. You can handle it or respond to it on a professional level. But it has nothing to do with you. Someone thinking you're ugly has nothing to do with you, right? So we have to get out of our heads. We have to stop wasting time thinking about things that are irrelevant or has nothing to do with us. We love watching celebrity shows and who's married to who's pregnant, who's not pregnant. Okay, it's entertainment. I get it. I like entertainment too. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with us. Who Nicki Minaj married has nothing to do with me. If she has 20 kids or no kids, if she married somebody that was in jail, how does that impact my life? I don't know the lady. And it's the same with people you see in the neighborhood. Why Miss So-and-so has all these men coming in and out her house, unless I'm going to go talk to her or I have a relationship with her where I'm concerned about her well-being, even then, it has nothing to do with me. It's not my house. It has nothing to do with me. I can pray for people and give them to God, but it's different from you worrying. When you give something or someone to God, you're saying, God, I'm concerned about this, or, I ask that you help with this, and you literally give it to him. So you're no longer holding on to it. But a lot of us, we hold on to things, those thoughts, those seeds that's planted in our heads, those previews, and we make big movies. We make a whole garden out of a negative seed, a negative thought seed. We create, rather than saying, this is not even important, this is irrelevant, this is irrelevant. There's this lady that makes these videos, and I remember seeing like her commonly used phrase was, that's irrelevant. I think her name is Sade or something like that. But yeah, she always says, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. And it's true. It's so much stuff that's so irrelevant. I think I'm going to make another video because I know this one is like all over. It's not all over the place, but it's not like the way I want it to be. So I am going to make another video about things that's not irrelevant, and don't waste your time on it. Y'all, guard your thoughts and go read Philippians 4:8. So you'll know what to think as a child of God. But to save anybody watching this time and energy, when you start getting those thoughts in your head, shift it to something important. Shift it to something more, beneficial to your life. Like read a book. Go read a book. Go spend time around some loved ones. Go, just get out your head. Get out your head. And if you know that you're bored, your times where you're bored or your times where you're inactive are those times when you start getting in your head, then you need to have a plan of action. What am I going to do? Am I going to start reading? Am I going to start, listening to music? You have power to guard your thoughts. You have power to shift your thoughts. God leads us, but you still have to decide what you're going to do. So even when God deals with me, listen, even as I'm in my head, God deals with me about situations, right? He'll give me scriptures and everything. And not even, sometimes an hour after, I'm like, okay, God, but then my flesh still is trying to figure stuff out. So it's just like, did you just ignore God, or you just didn't get it? And honestly, it's when I begin to really just focus on the things of God, or focus on things that are beneficial to me, where my thoughts are now I have more peace. Because if your mind is going and it's going in a negative direction, if you're not controlling your thoughts, you don't have peace. It messes up your peace. So it's not only taking time away, but it's taking away from your peace. So for me personally, when I do read the scriptures, when I do find that over everything, I begin to get a peace. It's when I step away from it that I begin to question things. And I see even the more now why it's important to walk in faith. Because if you step out of line with God's will, out of line of His leading, because you're still in this flesh, like if somebody pinch you, it's gonna hurt. You still have emotions, but you don't have to give so much power to those emotions. You can still choose to focus on those things that are important. So please, everyone, I'm ending this video with this message. Control your thoughts. Control your thoughts. Focus on things that are important. Read Philippians 4 and 8. Focus on things that are important. Focus on things that are beneficial to you. And know what's irrelevant and what's relevant to your life. If it's irrelevant, stop wasting your time on it. Even some entertainment is irrelevant. And I'm not knocking people, because I watch irrelevant things. But I'm talking about those things that really consume your energy. Like, you're worrying about stuff that really doesn't have anything to do with you. Get over yourself. Get out of your head. All right, that's it, you guys. Thank you for your time.